In Revelation 13 we see the second beast, or the USA, causing the whole world to worship the first beast, or the Roman Catholic Church, by creating an image to the beast and persecuting those that would not partake of this false worship. Those that remain faithful to God through this time of trial and persecution receive the seal of God and are shown as keeping the commandments of God. The Sabbath is the sign for God's people, and through keeping it they acknowledge Him as Creator. Sunday keeping, or the false Sabbath, is the mark of authority for the Roman Catholic Church, who made this change to the law of God. As the USA and the Roman Church join hands to enforce this false Sabbath upon the world, those that trample God's law and worship this image of the beast will receive the mark of the beast. This will bring a tremendous test upon God's people. Maranatha, p. 131. A great crisis awaits the people of God. A crisis awaits the world. The most momentous struggle of all the ages is just before us. The question of enforcing Sunday observance has become one of national interest and importance. We well know what the result of this movement will be, but are we ready for the issue, a sign for God's peo?
Shortly before traveling to Nicaea, the Pope issued a warning. He said that the heresies confronted by the Council, whose 1700th anniversary he was about to celebrate just hours later, are reappearing.
But there is also another challenge, which we might call a new Arianism, present in today's culture and sometimes even among believers. This occurs when Jesus is admired on a merely human level, perhaps even with religious respect, yet not truly regarded as the living and true God among us.
Issue: a sign for God's people. Point 1. End of probation for the United States. Revelation 18:1-3. 5 testimonies, p. 451. To secure popularity and patronage, legislators will yield to the demand for a Sunday law. Those who fear God cannot accept an institution that violates a precept of the Decalogue. On this battlefield comes the last great conflict of the controversy between truth and error, and we are not left in doubt as to the issue. Now, as in the days of Mordecai, the Lord will vindicate His truth and His people. By the decree enforcing the institution of the papacy in violation of the law of God, our nation will disconnect herself fully from righteousness. As the approach of the Roman armies was a sign to the disciples of the impending destruction of Jerusalem, so may this apostasy be a sign to us that the limit of God's forbearance is reached, that the measure of our nation's iniquity is full, and that the angel of mercy is about to take her flight. National apostasy will be followed by national ruin. 7 Bible Commentary, p. 977 1888. The national apostasy is the signal for national ruin. To selected messages, p. 373 This national apostasy will speedily be followed by national ruin. Review and Herald, June 15, 1897. There will be a national apostasy which will end only in national ruin. Evangelism, p. 235 1899. 2. Marvelous working of Satan. Revelation 13:13-14. 5 testimonies, p. 451. When Protestantism shall stretch her hand across the gulf to grasp the hand of the Roman power, when she shall reach over the abyss to clasp hands with spiritualism, when, under the influence of this threefold union, our country will repudiate every principle of its constitution as a Protestant and Republican government, and shall make provision for the propagation of papal falsehoods and delusions, then we may know that the time has come for the marvelous working of Satan. And Last Day Events, p. 136. The wicked declared that they had the truth, that miracles were among them, that angels from heaven talked with them and walked with them, that great power and signs and wonders were performed among them, and that this was the temporal millennium that they had been expecting so long. The whole world was converted and in harmony with the Sunday law.
3. Image to the beast is set up. Story of Redemption, pp. 381-382. The image to the beast represents another religious body clothed with similar powers. The formation of this image is the work of that beast, whose peaceful rise and mild professions render it so striking a symbol of the United States. Here is to be found an image of the papacy. When the churches of our land, uniting upon such points of faith as are held by them in common, shall influence the state to enforce their decrees and sustain their institutions, then will Protestant America have formed an image of the Roman hierarchy. Then the true church will be assailed by persecution, as were God's ancient people. Great Controversy, p. 588. Through the two great errors, the immortality of the soul and Sunday sacredness, Satan will bring the people under his deceptions. While the former lays the foundation of spiritualism, the latter creates a bond of sympathy with Rome. The Protestants of the United States will be foremost in stretching their hands across the gulf to grasp the hand of spiritualism. They will reach over the abyss to clasp hands with the Roman power, and under the influence of this threefold union, this country will follow in the steps of Rome in trampling on the rights of conscience.
Great Controversy, pp. 448, 449. The enforcement of Sunday keeping on the part of Protestant churches is an enforcement of the worship of the papacy, of the beast. Those who, understanding the claims of the fourth commandment, choose to observe the false instead of the true Sabbath are thereby paying homage to that power by which alone it is commanded. But in the very act of enforcing a religious duty by secular power, the churches would themselves form an image to the beast. Hence the enforcement of Sunday keeping in the United States would be an enforcement of the worship of the beast and his image. 4. Leave the large cities. 5 Testimonies, p. 464. The time is not far distant, when, like the early disciples, we shall be forced to seek a refuge in desolate and solitary places. As the siege of Jerusalem by the Roman armies was a signal for flight to the Judean Christians, so the assumption of power on the part of our nation in the decree enforcing the papal Sabbath will be a warning to us. It will then be time to leave the large cities, preparatory to leaving the smaller ones for retired homes and secluded places among the mountains. Does that mean that people are not to leave the large cities until then? 6 Testimonies, p. 195. Get out of the large cities as fast as possible. 1901 Review and Herald, April 14, 1903. My warning is, keep out of the cities. Build no sanitariums in the cities. Educate our people to get out of the cities into the country, where they can obtain a small piece of land and make a home for themselves and their children. Country Living, p. 9. Again and again the Lord has instructed that our people are to take their families away from the cities, into the country, where they can raise their own provisions, for in the future the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. 5. Brings persecution. Great Controversy, p. 607. The power attending the message third angel.
5. Brings persecution. Great Controversy, p. 607. The power attending the message third angel will only madden those who oppose it. The clergy will put forth almost superhuman efforts to shut away the light lest it should shine upon their flocks. By every means at their command, they will endeavor to suppress the discussion of these vital questions. The Church appeals to the strong arm of civil power, and in this work, Papists and Protestants unite. As the movement for Sunday enforcement becomes more bold and decided, the law will be invoked against commandment keepers. They will be threatened with fines and imprisonment, and some will be offered positions of influence and other rewards and advantages as inducements to renounce their faith. But their steadfast answer is, show us from the word of God our error. Those who are arraigned before the courts make a strong vindication of the truth, and some who hear them are led to take their stand to keep all the commandments of God. Economic restrictions, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13:17, civil penalties and death. Great Controversy, p. 604. All who refuse compliance will be visited with civil penalties, and it will finally be declared that they are deserving of death. Revelation 13:15. Signs of the Times, May 6, 1897, par. 16. Trial and persecution will come to all who, in obedience to the word of God, refuse to worship this false Sabbath. Force is the last resort of every false religion. At first it tries attraction, as the king of Babylon tried the power of music and outward show. If these attractions, invented by men inspired by Satan, failed to make men worship the image, the hungry flames of the furnace were ready to consume them. So it will be now. The papacy has exercised her power to compel men to obey her, and she will continue to do so. We need the same spirit that was manifested by God's servants in the conflict with paganism. Further study, read Great Controversy, Chapter 25, God's Law Immutable, and 5 Testimonies, Chapter 52, The Coming Crisis.